I'm going to make you wait now. Welcome to Tank Top, podcast. All about video games and craft beer. I'm Ben. And we're not here with Aadil. He's disappeared. He's back.
I was a little worried about continuously peeking the mic after being surprised while leaning forward expectantly.
You're waiting. I lulled you in for sense of security. And of course, we're here with Lucy.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hello.
Several hellos. Yes, again. We're going to talk about games.
Saying everywhere. Yeah. What is going on?
Good. What did I start with this week? Video games, craft beer? I don't remember. But we're going to be talking about those things, games and beer. We're going to kick off first with some beers. From my left, Aadil, what are you drinking first?
I'm drinking from Marble Beers.
Oh,
the Side Control India Pale Lager.
Okay.
And it's got this lovely pink can with this sort of weird icebergy, sort of topographical, watery depth map sort of thing. 5.3%, no real flavor text. And need to drink it before January 24th.
Oh, okay.
Oh, fuck me. Despite sitting in the fridge for a couple hours, my journey from the bottle shop, I'm just going to wipe this beer off the screen.
That's a good idea. Sometimes they need a little bit longer to rest, don't they?
Yeah, I'm not going to quite pour it yet. Also,
okay. Well, have you got any flavor text that you can read whilst?
No, like I said, there's no flavor text except for the best before date, and the fact that I should pour slowly to leave any sediment in the can.
Is there
instructions?
You got the best before date? Is there a canned on date on there?
No.
Okay.
So no idea how long the shelf life is.
That's fine. That's fine. You pour slowly. Lucy, what are you starting with this week?
I am starting with a beer from Birmingham Brewing Co. Called their Merry Brummie. Might be a bit early to start with the Christmas festivities, but I think I brewed this last year, possibly, and I think it's making a comeback.
Okay.
It is a 4.7%. Let's have a look at the style. I'm assuming it's something probably like red ale, amber ale, something like that. Okay, it says it's got malted rye, so I'm guessing it's a rye beer. Yeah, it doesn't actually say the style, but not that I can see anyway. But it says it's got cinnamon and orange peel for festive spice. There's Mario Santo himself. Yeah, so I'm just guessing it's like a rye IPA, possibly. The colour of it.
Oh, it's dark.
Very clear.
Yeah.
It's probably. Yeah, it is actually pretty dark amber. It's very clear, though. You can see it is almost translucent.
Nice.
About a 2-finger, slightly off whitehead. It's quite foamy. It's been there for quite some time. But yeah, sort of colour look that you'd expect from a rye IPA.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. We'll let that sit with you. I'm going to tell you that I am having a stout day. Hooray! And the first comes from a brewery that I've not had before, but you had a few weeks ago, Aadil, which is Manual Brewing Company.
You found a Manual?
Yeah, I found one. They had in the bottle shop this one, which is a coffee stout called Comfort of Strangers, 6%. They also had not both of the ones that you had. I can't remember what the two different styles were, but they had one of the other ones there. I remembered the name, so I didn't pick that one up and pick this one up instead. It does have a little bit of flavour text. Hopped with Target, Magnum, and Sovereign. Fermented with a blend of English and American ale yeast strains. Aged on Peruvian cold brew coffee, chocolate, bitter coffee, caramel, spices. So there we go. Spices. So,
yeah, too spicy.
I've just fucking got that everywhere as well. Jesus.
What is wrong with you all?
Oh no. It's alright, it wasn't too much. Wasn't too much. but it has like leaped out of the can at me.
Should I start describing mine whilst you?
Yes, if you're ready, I know you had a little sniff.
I think mine's ready as well. So whichever.
Okay. Yeah, mine is a rye beer. Just looks on Untapped. It just says, "Yep, just a rye beer." I'm enjoying it. The smell, the aroma. It started off like just you can really smell like the malt in it. Very malty in it. So I was a bit fearful because it sort of had that like, very malt forward kind of aroma that I sometimes attribute with like Marston beers, which aren't the best quality and stuff like that. Right. But actually drinking it, you're still getting a lot of malt in it, but it is pared back slightly with those spices and with that little bit of orange peel. You're getting a slight bit of citrus at the end. I think it's quite bitter, but for me, for my palate, it's not very bitter. I think if it was more bitter, I would probably dislike it more, which is strange for me because I really like bitter beers. But in this one, it's just I think it's fairly well balanced. The malt and the rye, which is very strong from the start, and it still get that aftertaste of the malt and the rye. Yeah. But just on the finish, it's slightly pared back just by that those citrusy notes from the orange peel. And yeah, it's fairly spicy. Not in terms of like, I don't know, like they put some chilies in there, but maybe some cinnamon, stuff like that, some star anise or something like that. So
nice. Okay. Sounds like it's quite sort of complex, but everything's working sort of quite well together. Yeah, and
as I said, like some of the beers that are very like rye and malt forward, they can sometimes be a bit off-putting, especially if they're like lower quality, like Marston beers. But this has got so much more love and care put into it. So yeah, I mean, Birmingham Brewing beers are not going to blow your socks off, but they make pretty tasty beers. I mean, I put a Confused Brummie, the milk stout that you had a deal on the podcast earlier on this year, and I put that in the fridge, so I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, they make pretty decent beers. I'm enjoying it.
Good Aadil, how was yours, man?
Not much of a smell. Nose.
Okay.
A little nutty. I mean, it's hard to tell because if you haven't noticed, I have the sniffles. So who knows how good my tasting is going to be. But my nosing is especially dulled. It's got a bit of it's a sweet nuttiness. I mean, it's a lager. It's not surprising. I thought maybe it'd get more hops on it on the nose. I'm not detecting anything, but again, kind of hampered.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how that affects your taste as well. It just dulls it completely. Or...
That's really tasty. It's got a nice bit of like it's definitely a lager, but and because of that, you get that stronger carbonation, that effervescence that lagers sort of typically have. Sorry, no, oh god, the cat is on the table. What are you doing?
Just surprise cameo.
Investigating. Investigating.
Okay.
Just know what's happening.
How many times have I recorded and you haven't come to visit?
Yeah.
That's it.
So I've been thrown off. Now you're actually in the way of the microphone. Sorry.
Just want some love.
Yeah, I think so. Give me some pets.
Love later. Yeah.
Sorry. Where was I? Oh, so it's that effervescence helps because I'm getting some sort of little bit of tropical fruits, a touch of citrus off the hoppiness, and they're going really well with that sort of zip you get from the extra carbonation. It's got almost a more velvety texture than I would have expected. I would have expected it to taste more watery, and it's got a little bit more of a texture going. Super easy to drink. There's a slight sort of bitter, mild hoppy aftertaste, but again, because it's a lager, I mean, it's just not that much of a lingering. mostly it leaves my mouth a little wet. But I mean, I've already quaffed. I'm only taking 2 sips, and I'm already sort of a chunk down. I think this one will go down quite quickly. It is a shame, I think, that I am nasally impaired, because I suspect that I'm not quite getting all of the different hops that put in there. But it's even with the sniffles, it's got a nice balance of sort of some actual hops going on, balancing really well with sort of the, like I said, the zippiness of the carbonation and the slight nuttiness that you get normally with the lager.
Well, that's impressive if you can still tell.
Definitely. Good. Well, you smash that back. On this Manual Brewing Company, what was it called? The Comfort of Strangers. On the nose, it's really light, super light. Not getting much at all from the nose. Maybe you get that slight hint of coffee, just very, very slight.
Okay.
In the flavour, though, it's not a big hit. It is quite kind of pared back almost. I don't know whether it's kind of just it's not quite sort of as viscous as I think I would expect. It's quite sort of light in kind of the texture to it, but I'm getting a lot of bitterness from sort of almost like dark chocolate, I think, followed up by a big sort of a cold coffee kind of hit,
like a cold brew.
Yes, like a cold brew. It's definitely got a slight sweetness to it. I know it said it had spices and it had a bit of caramel in there. And it's got this very, very light sweetness to it. And I'd probably, if that sweetness was just that little bit higher, I'd probably mistake it more for a porter. It's got that kind of feel to it.
Very light body.
Yeah, very, very light body. But the coffee's coming through, the chocolate's coming through. There is that slight sweetness, whether it's the caramel or not. I'm not quite sure. Doesn't quite taste like caramel. And there's that, with that bitterness, with that kind of dark chocolate bitterness, there is a little bit of maybe spice on there, but again, I can't pick up what that is. It's just something in the background to kind of, feels like it's just to heighten maybe that bitterness a little bit. But the flavour stays. It's a dry beer. I want more now as I'm kind of talking about it, but I've still got the full flavour, with me. So it sticks around for a nice kind of long time, and it is that full flavour as well. Obviously, very dulled now as it was from when I first sipped it, but I can still get a little bit of that sweetness, getting a lot of that kind of that bitterness, and the coffee's just sort of mellow in the background there. So it's nice and very easy to drink.
Yeah. And what was the percentage? Sorry.
6.
6.
So you've got the heaviest of us all.
Yes.
At the moment, yes.
Mine's, what is it, 4.7? Feels a little heavier than that, but not too heavy. I think it's just mainly because of the aftertaste. It just lingers.
Yeah.
The rye and the bitterness, that's probably why it seems a bit heavier than it actually is. I'd probably say it's medium body as well. It's not too light, too thin, which is good.
Nice. Good. A good start for all of us, I think. Lucy, as your mid-sip, we'll come to you first.
Okay.
We'll start talking about some games.
Yeah, I didn't want to just harp on about Hitman 2 forever.
What? Are you sure you didn't? Who is this?
I know. Probably mostly because I haven't finished it. I've played 3 of the 6 levels, and also because it is very much Hitman refined, Hitman 2016 refined. So I'll probably speak about it maybe a few shows later. Might speak about it next week my but I'm not going to really spend too much time on it. I love it. It's like, so don't mistake my my lack of mention of it. Don't mistake that for me not liking the game, because it's going to be up there in Game of the Year, because it's Hitman and it's even better.
I'm sure we'll have a lovely in-depth discussion
Oh, really will.
More than likely. And I suppose if people want to hear your thoughts on the 2016 Hitman, kind of the
just any episode from 2016.
Yeah. End of the year, last year's end of the year episode. Was it last year? No, year before's end of the year episode.
Just pick any podcast. Just blindly.
Yeah.
I'll have been talking about it.
Comedy Bang Bang, Spontaneous Nation.
Lucy's voice just kicks in.
Pops in, just says Hitman's the best, pops out again. She had a busy year, but it was worth it.
Just go check any of those podcasts in 2016. Probably nearer to March when it came out, but yeah. Anyway, I played a game within probably the last hour.
Oh, okay.
Came and recorded because I just wanted something else to speak about, and it's a very short game. And actually saw it in somebody's queue on Steam. I was like, oh, let me just scroll down.
At those?
Well, it just came up. I was just looking at the achievements after I finished it, and it was like, oh, one of your friends owns this game. I was like, well, it's got to be a deal. But it's actually Ben.
Oh, okay.
And the name of the game is. It's
not the Frog Detective game, is it?
Yeah, it's Frog one.
Oh, I'm dying to play this Frog Detective game.
Yeah,
I don't even know what this is. This is amazing.
It's called The Haunted Island, a Frog Detective game.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
When did it come out?
Last week, wasn't it?
Last week.
Why I've never heard of it. I stopped looking at new releases because I can't handle old releases. Oh, it's the cutest art style ever.
Yeah. It's sort of got like that kind of very low fidelity, low poly jazz punk-esque. Probably even more low poly than like jazz punk.
Definitely.
Like a really fuck me, let's try this again. A really talented 11-year-old with MSP.
Yes. Yeah, it kind of looks like that.
Like no textures.
Game that's
just
very colourful. Yeah,
really broad shapes.
Mm-hmm. Very simple. And how to describe this game? I wouldn't call it. I guess in the loosest sense, it is an adventure game. In the loosest sense, it is an adventure game. With very little mechanics or interactivity. I mean, other people might call it a walking sim. It's called a detective game, but there's very little, deductive reasoning or puzzle solving going on. You're simply a frog who's a detective, and your supervisor asks you to go to an island because it's apparently inhabited by ghosts, and everyone else on this island is like some kind of creature, like a sloth or a crocodile or something like that, and you're basically just going around and speaking to all these other inhabitants of the island. It's a very small island. To get across it would take probably less than 30 seconds of walking. And you're just speaking with all the different characters across the island, and how they've managed in this such low, complex in terms of complexity art style, to convey all these different characters. It's essentially you're speaking to them. There's no voice acting. It's all written dialogue, and you're just choosing different options out of the dialogue. There's usually only 2 or 3 at a time to choose from, so your options in that are limited.
Okay.
And it's basically.
Is there any noise while they're speaking? Do they sub it in with just any murmuring or anything like that? It's just text. Yeah,
and it's just you hear the crashing of the waves on the island, and that's literally all the ambient sound that you really hear.
So it's much more like dialogue tree based than adventure.
Yeah, but the dialogue trees, it's like the main conceit of the game is you need to get into a cave, and you need some items to get in the cave, and all these inhabitants of the island will have an item. So you speak to them, get the item, then you go to speak to somebody else. They want that item. You swap it for an item they have, etc., etc. It's very, like, it's very simple. So, people listening probably think, why would I ever want to play this game? It seems very rudimentary, but in addition to what Aadil said about the art style, it's very charming, very striking. It is really funny.
Yeah.
It's I think, like, a lot of the reviews on Steam and, like, critical reviews are just like, this game is funny. It's very short. So I finished it in about 40 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It's £3. I think it's £3.50. So what's
that?
That's a cup of coffee from, like, Starbucks or Costa or something like that. So I felt it was worth it. Mileage may vary. Other people, depends what you consider worth your money. So
I don't know if
be aware.
It's $3.99. So if I bought like 10 copies of this, I would only have like less than 10 hours. And if I bought Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I would have at least 72 hours because of all the fucking fetch quests that I don't want to do. But it's long, so it must be a better game.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
That's how things work.
Yeah.
But just looking at the Steam reviews, all very positive, and it's all about the humor. And the humor it's so deadpan because all these, like, inhabitants of the island are they've got these massive, like, eyes and just, like, dead eyes that just stare into the abyss. And the humor is just so deadpan that it just works perfectly with that art style. It's got, like, this jazzy soundtrack.
Do their mouths move when they talk?
No, it's just literally.
So they all just stood there like.
Yeah, with, like, dead expressions.
Oh, that's pretty great.
But
Brilliant.
it just complements the humor so well. This, dry, witty, deadpan humor. It just all works together in such a good way, and it put a smile on my face. I genuinely laughed out loud a couple times at the start. So
I'm literally buying it right now.
Nice.
I should have let you know earlier because I bought it when it's 10% off, and I think 10% finished. Like,
oh, did it?
Well,
I brought it.
Yeah, it did finish today.
I brought it today. I brought it today, and it was 10% off actually.
I bought it today as well. Yeah, but it
several
must be a
hours
certain
ago.
time. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's not 10% off now. Fucking Steam.
What's 30 pence or something?
I was gonna say that price really doesn't.
Yeah. And I think they are adding, like, new cases. In the future. Yeah. So I assume for free. I don't want to assume because
that makes
what assuming does. Yeah, it does. Yeah. But I'd imagine because it's such a short experience, and, like, even on the Steam page, it's like there's a gift saying this is a short game. So they let people
nice.
They let people know, and so I assume that they might be free. But hey, if I was to chuck them another £1 for another episode or whatever, I'd be more than happy to do so because comedy in general, but comedy in games is a very hard thing to achieve. So it's something that actually makes me laugh in a game. I'm more appreciative of it. So yeah.
Nice. Do either of you, if either of you do have that page up still, it's made by one person, isn't it?
Yes. Was it Grace Bruxner?
Yeah, Grace Bruxner.
Bruxner. Yeah.
I mean,
Bruxner.
Nice.
And
I heard
Thomas
about this.
Bowker was the programmer.
Okay. That's interesting. Obviously, some help.
But very small scale.
Yeah. Cool. Because I heard about this on another podcast. People discussing it, and I instantly jumped over to Steam. I'm like, I really want to know what this is.
Yeah.
Went over to Steam. I'm like, yep. Looked at the art. I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely buying this. This is definitely something to play. Just as a nice kind of palate cleanser to Red Dead, definitely.
To murdering people with various objects in Hitman,
Yeah.
Just want to play as a frog. But yeah, I saw it a few weeks ago. I was like, this looks interesting. I think it was was it at Day of the Devs? I can't remember. But I saw it a few weeks ago. I was like, okay, it's my Steam wish list. It's like, oh, it's out. I was like, oh, okay. And then I think it was today that I heard it on, I think it was Abby on Giant Bomb speaking about it. And she's very much into her comedy, and she liked the humour of it, and I was like, okay, I'll check this out. That's enough reason to dive in, along with all the positive reviews. Yeah.
I mean, I felt the same. I listened to Danielle chatting about it on Waypoint, and basically almost every game that she talks about, I'm like, yep, you've got very, very similar tasting games to me. And as I say, as soon as I saw that art style, I'm like, yep, I'm having this one, definitely. It's
so
scheduled for me to kind of play at some point this weekend.
Yeah, 45 minutes, that's all you need.
Good, that'd be Saturday nap time for Evelyn. Done. Come in, check work emails, stick that on. Yep. So yeah, good. Nice. I've while we're kind of talking about palette cleansers, I've dived in. No, I've dove in. I've jumped in.
That's easier.
That's better. To Hollow Knight.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Yeah, I'm not that far in. I'm not that far in. I've played a few hours. Maybe 3-ish. So
You've got a while to go.
It's kind of, I thought to myself, well, it's wildly different from Red Dead. It'd be nice to play something very different. I think I started yesterday, so I got in maybe about an hour yesterday. I've got maybe an hour and a half in, maybe 2 hours today. So it was kind of, it is a very different game to Red Dead. So that again is a nice palate cleanser in itself. But I can see this now taking over for the next week and a half, something like that.
Did you finish Red Dead?
I have finished Red Dead. Okay. Yes, I've now I finished it. I did finish it today, but only because I was about to finish it last night. I was in the final part of the epilogue, doing that bit, and I had to pause it because Evelyn got up, so I went up to deal with that. Came back and I'm like, I'm just going to go to bed. I'm so tired. Yeah. So didn't finish it, and just on my lunch break today, I just...
And you probably, at that point, didn't know how much more there was, maybe?
Well, I kind of thought, it in the epilogue, it was getting towards a conclusion, or at least you were on your way to getting towards a conclusion. And I watched maybe 5 minutes, or not even that, maybe 3 minutes of kind of final cutscenes.
Yeah.
And then there's 10 minutes of credits.
Yeah, it felt like, the end of the Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
You mean, like 7 different endings?
Yeah, and it's like, oh, it's going to end. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, it's going to end. I remember watching that in the cinema, and people were literally cheering when the credits rolled, because everyone was like, please just let it end.
You're not like, oh, what a good film, hooray!
Yeah.
Like, oh, we can leave.
Yeah, we were there for 3 hours. People were cheering. So,
obviously, we'll talk more about kind of like the ending and stuff when we do our Red Dead sort of like spoiler chat.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to talking about it in depth.
And I mean,
sorry, Aadil, but we can talk about it again when you play it next year.
Yeah. This time first have to manage to fucking play a game, any game.
Florence, the frog game.
Yeah, the frog game sounds really promising. I can
get your 45-minute games
a couple
in.
TV shows. That's a thing my brain can wrap around.
I think you'll really like the humor.
The first, the like intro prologue, and then I went to sleep.
Well, I'm sure we'll hear your thoughts maybe next week. Yeah, cool.
I need to get on top of this whole PhD thing that I might only have less than a month to finish with new supervision.
Yeah, just another spanner to be thrown in to the works.
So Aadil's ordeal sounds like the ordeals of Hollow Knight. Just even more horrifying.
I mean, I have Hollow Knight on the personal computer, but I haven't installed it yet. I'm looking forward to that.
I bought it in a Steam sale, not this one, but the previous one. Yeah. And I've been meaning to start it for a while, but Red Dead kind of took over, and I've just seen that it's been posted up on PlayStation in their kind of flash sale. I think it was like their Cyber Monday flash sale, but it's not Cyber Monday because it's for like 4 or 5 days, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's cheaper on PlayStation than it was in the Steam sale when I bought it. Plus, it's warm in the house where my PlayStation is. I'm thinking, If I
Whatever happened
bought
to
it
your...
again, then that would just be like paying full price for it. So do I just pay it again and sit in the warm?
What happened to your Steam streamer thing?
It's still there, but I don't know why, but I'm finding a massive amount of latency when I use it.
Yeah, you don't want that for Hollow Knight.
And I definitely don't want that for Hollow Knight. It's one of the things with Hollow Knight, it seems that precision and timing is very, very key. I've died to just general bugs, the little ones that kind of just walk forward and don't actually do anything, because I've kind of mistimed the jump and went to slash them, but mistimed that and then landed on them and lost a hit point.
Make sure you look down before you jump.
Yeah, there's so many different kind of things to try and take in with this to kind of scout out what you're doing, and I think the key for it is patience. At first I was charging ahead. I didn't have a map, didn't know where I was charging ahead. I was like, right, I'll just go this way, I'll go into this room, I'll see what's here. Okay, there's this in here. Okay, there's another entrance there's another entrance there.
Make sure you get the compass charm.
Yeah,
make sure you have that.
So I very quickly, just by luck, I found the guy that gives you the map for the first area.
You got to listen out for him. Play headphones.
Yes.
Oh god, I love this game. It's so
good. There's so many good little audio cues, especially with the little worms as well that are in the jars, or the grubs that are in the jars. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, there's someone around here, and suddenly I'll find like a ledge which is just out of my reach for jumping. Like, right, okay, I've got to come back at some point when I've unlocked something, or there's another way. Yeah, or there's another way to get there. And I'm finding that kind of the Metroidvania elements of it kind of quite satisfying. I very much know when I can't go somewhere, and it almost sort of pushes you in kind of one direction. There's lots of different ways to kind of get there, and it might be you can go down into this room and then down into this room and across and then back up and across and up and you're here, or you could have gone here and here and got there, but this is the kind of the area that you need to come back to. It's not kind of convoluted. It doesn't like it does just enough to kind of make you feel a little bit lost, but that you can always kind of overcome that quite quickly.
Yeah, the later game when the map really opens up, because the map's huge. It is a bit of a pain to like fast travel. Okay. But at the very start, then it's manageable. But just getting lost in that game and like discovering things and just it's just so satisfying.
It is.
It reminds me of like old school Metroid, and now you just feel just like isolated and lost and just discovering everything like that. I definitely felt to start with that it was quite, I think it was the kind of like the timing of everything that I felt that it was quite difficult to get into for maybe like the first 30 minutes. But once I died a couple of times, and actually even before I'd got the map in my head, I kind of understood, that what spaces were kind of linked to what, and kind of where I was, and I was able to basically just be able to see from my environment and where I'd entered a room, what that room was, and know kind of where I was and where I'd been and where I could then try and discover. So I built that up. Obviously, when you get the map, it makes it 10 times easier. But the thing is that you can discover things, but the map won't fill in if you've got the compass charm. It won't fill in until you rest at a bench.
Yes.
So a lot of the time you are fumbling around in the dark almost, but having that charm is really helpful. Knowing where you are, knowing what what your surroundings are, knowing the different areas and stuff like that.
Yeah, completely. I mean, that's one really interesting kind of thing that I don't think I've seen in a Metroidvania as well. Talking about stumbling in the dark, there are literal dark sections where you have a very small area of light around you. You can see it to his scale, maybe like 5 foot in front of you, 6 foot in front of you, and that is it, like that orb of light around you. And obviously there's an item or something that you get to then illuminate a larger radius or whatever that's going to do. But I found in one of these spaces, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll walk through and see what it is. It's very early when you get to it, and I didn't realize that I knew that something had hit me.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck has hit me? And it's actually a spike that had fallen from the ceiling that had hit me. And I'm just walking through this space, just swinging my needle about, like, go away, I just want to explore a little bit, let me go through.
It's like,
there was nothing there. Just randomly, anyone that was watching this guy in the world, like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Just swinging his sword at nothing. This crazy bloke just walking around. But it kind of
weird bug.
But it works. It works super well, and it's
I'll be interested to see how you are if you do get this for like 10, 12 hours in. Because there is a point where it's like, okay, what am I doing? Where am I going? How did I get here?
Is there any kind of element to it where is it something that I'd have to 100% to get through to the end, or is it kind of, is there areas that I will never have to go to?
There's a 100% completion, and there's like a 125% completion. This game is huge.
Works.
I know. This game is huge. So there is as you were saying, Ben, there is like, in quotation marks, linear route to the end of the story. In fact, it's not really that linear, because I ended up using a guide at certain points, because it's like, okay, this is huge. I'm going to all these different areas, and do I necessarily have to do this? I wanted to do everything, don't get me wrong, that I came across, but it's like, is this on the critical path to the final boss?
Right.
And it's not always clear, but there's something so good about that. It's like, even such a late game, I was finding new areas and finding new bosses.
Right.
But it's not crucial to complete everything 100%. You will not. I'll just say that. You will not complete everything 100%.
I probably won't.
I will not complete everything 100%. Because that damn arena of fools, or whatever, the third one, oh my god.
Yeah, I've met a guy that's told me about this. I think I'm at a point where I think I've killed the boss of the second area, which is a chick with she throws a spear at you. It's not a spoiler. Oh, is that the noise? Yeah, that is the noise. Yeah. So I've defeated her.
Was she in the grass area? Is
yes, that where it was? It's in the very lush sort of grass area. I defeated her, and I'm like, I don't know where to go now. I'll just walk around it. And then I came across a giant grass slug thing that charges at you, and I'm like, I've got no idea how to beat this. And I must have died on him more than I died on the other one. And that's kind of, very much where that element of patience comes in. And I'm like, right, I've worked out the pattern. There's not kind of a very set pattern, but it's only got a couple of attacks. You're like, right, for this attack, I need to do this. For this attack, I need to do this. Okay, it's doing this attack, do this. Okay, it's doing this attack, do this. And it had tons and tons of, I maybe hit it like 20 odd times. So it took, a good sort of 4 minutes or 3 minutes to defeat this one boss. And I'm like, oh, fuck's sake, okay, that's fine. Okay, do this, right, get back. I'm at this bench. It doesn't take me that long to get there, and I can fill up my meter before I get there, right, brilliant. Okay, do this. It's a very satisfying game.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, is like, you sometimes don't know where you're going, but that's not always a bad thing, because it does lead you on like new paths, and it's like, oh, I discovered this, I discovered that, and oh gosh, I died at that place. Want to go? Now's the next, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes of me trying to get back to that place, and then find a bench, find a fast travel point, defeat the boss, and everything like that. So there's always more stuff to do. There's always engaging you all throughout the experience, and it was only very late game when I decided to use the guide just to get to that end boss. It's like, what do I have to do just to get that end boss? But everything else up to that point, it's like, I just want to discover this organically, and it's really rewarding in that sense.
It is.
Always carrot on the stick in front of you.
Yes, yeah, very much. And I kind of get the sense that I'm, again, getting a little bit lost even where to go just to get into the third area. And even just that makes you sort of have to explore a little to be able to kind of get there. So it's good in that sense. But getting to a time where I kind of need to, as you said, like streamline what I'm doing to kind of progress through, and which is a bit of a shame because you kind of want to just enjoy it organically, don't you? And just take your time
and you should,
with it,
because
really.
if you're 3 hours in, mate, you've got like another 20, 30 probably.
Oh, mate, really? It's that big?
It's a big game.
Jeez,
The map is huge.
Okay. Well, maybe it's one of those that it's kind of...
And you die a lot, so that helps in
yeah.
padding out time.
Maybe it's one that I, play a little bit and then I hit that palate cleanser of the Haunted Island. Play a little bit more Hollow Knight. I've got a code for a puzzle game as well, which I can't remember the name of. It's called, like Energy Cycle Edge, I believe.
I'm sure I played the first Energy Cycle.
So Energy Cycle was the first one, yeah. Energy Cycle Edge. As I don't think it's released yet. I've got a code for it.
Okay. Interesting.
So that again might be a nice palate cleanser sort of next week or something. So I'm going to try and enjoy shorter experiences now for the rest of the year.
I think playing it on Switch helped it a lot.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I was a little torn about buying the Switch just because I thought that'd be the easiest way. I could play it in bed, but I own it from a Humble Monthly.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, well, here's the game I own. I guess I'm going to play it.
Play on Switch. The definitive place to play Hollow Knight. Because, I heard a lot of good things about it last year, and obviously came out last year on PC. So I'm not playing a Metroidvania platformer on PC. Get out of here. I'll wait for it to come on console.
I'm just using a pad. Just using a control pad.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's not the same, Ben.
Isn't it though? Isn't it though?
It's not. It's sacrilege.
I'm getting my 18-month-old games on the cheap, mate, and I'm playing them wherever they're on the cheap,
Yeah,
I agree, but Hollow Knight is so cheap, even at full price. It's ridiculous. It's like £10.
Oh, is that all it is? Okay. Well, I can't remember what I pay, like $7.50, something like that.
I paid 12 for that and 7 other games.
Perfect.
Yes.
Right. I mean, one of the reasons I don't even look at, because I play games so infrequently, and the games I'm interested in are just, they often come on the Humble Bundle or the Humble Monthly. It's just like, I just don't bother anymore.
I still need to go shopping in your Humble Bundle.
Oh yeah, my key collection.
Yeah, I just send you my Steam wish list, and you can compare,
mix and match. Yeah,
connect the dots.
So just export it as an Excel spreadsheet. You'll be fine. Just cross them all off as they come. Should we open some more beers?
That sounds
ready for another drink.
Great.
Good.
I'm Tony the Tiger.
Have you got the Frosties themed beer?
No, I don't actually. Although it's weird that you called it Frosties because where I come from, they're called Frosted Flakes. To contrast them with
instead of corn,
frosted.
Yeah.
Well, they're still corn flakes, but they're just frosted corn flakes.
Yes.
Okay.
But they're not Frosties. Frosties are a thing you buy at the Max, which is like a 7-Eleven. It's called like a Slurpee. It's their... No, I'm wrong. What am I talking about? Frosties are what Wendy's serves. They're like their ice cream milkshake hybrid thing.
Okay.
Learn something new every day.
Yes, you do.
Also, if you've never done this, buying a chocolate Frosty from Wendy's and their fries and dipping the fries in the Frosty is a thing. That's more enjoyable than you would think.
I remember my brother dipping chips into strawberry milkshake. I'm like, nah, mate.
Strawberry? No, that's clearly wrong. My way might be weird, but it's not clearly wrong. What I have, though, is a Beavertown Cross Caravan Espresso Imperial Stout.
Caravan?
Yeah.
Topical. Can I have a look?
Espresso.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've had that one.
Yes, it's the Imperial Espresso Stout from Beavertown and Caravan. It is 9%. It's brewed with Caravan coffee using Guatemalan coffee. And I'm not to age it. I should drink it fresh.
Drink it now.
That's what I'm going to do.
Do it. Do it right now. Lucy, I see a bottle of Weird Beard.
Oh, yes. Weird Beard make a return onto the podcast. This one's called Heaven and Hell, and it's a double IPA aged in Heaven Hill bourbon barrels. It's 9.5%. 330 milliliter bottle. Oh, there's always a lot of flavor text on Weird Beard, which I appreciate. Where is it? Oh, wrong side. Anyway, about the beer.
Text all over the bottle.
Yeah, there's always one side that's filled with about the brewer, and there's always one side with about the beer. And I forget that every single time. About the beer, hoppier than insert joke here, and bitter as blah blah blah. Just drink it. I should. This double IPA is brewed with the same grain bill each time, and to the same IBU, but the late hops in each version will be whatever we think will wreak the most havoc on your palates.
Ooh.
Okay, so that's interesting. Anyway,
I'm sorry. Does it tell you what version it is?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Does it have any IBUs? It gives you the batch number, but
okay.
I'm sure you'd probably have to go call Weird Beard and be like, oh, I got your beer and the batch number is this. Can you tell me the IBU? Yeah. It just says drink with intensely flavoured foods such as grilled meats and saucy barbecue or smelly cheese. Yeah, go for the smelly cheese. Don't really have any. Beer will do. That's fine.
Drink it with another beer. Nice. I'm drinking, so this is another new brewery for me this week. This is from Vibrant Forest.
Okay, I'm sure I've heard of them.
Where are they from?
Where are they from? Ooh, a very good question, sir, that I don't know. Lymington.
Alright, okay, down south.
Where is Lymington?
It's near, not far from Bournemouth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's got is Esso, that's a Southampton postcode, I believe.
Down there.
So they're down that way, towards Southampton. This is the Umbral Abyss. It's an imperial coffee stout, 11.5%. It says Umbral Abyss is a very rich and decadent experience with a dense aroma of coffee, which is followed by thick malts, figs, and licorice. The flavour follows suit with supremely vicious lashings of oak, charred malts, and molasses joining the pantheon. Enter the Abyss. I had a beer from these guys that was a collaboration with Unity, which was a Belgian beer. I can't remember the exact style of it, but it was really nice. And perfect for kind of like a winter's night, like just full of spice. I think it might have been a double actually, but yeah, a really nice beer. So I'm hoping this kind of follows suit at being really nice. We'll jump back to you, Aadil, as you've had time to ruminate. Yeah.
So this be a thick beer, not surprising. It's an imperial stout. There's still some head. It's quite also quite thick. It's only about like a half finger though that's remaining, but steady. Not much on the nose. Again, who knows? My nose is no nose. Oh, it's lovely texture. Not a huge taste immediately, but as things start to fade, you sort of notice get a nice hit of hops, sort of coupled with some biscuity notes, and then just this lovely finish of that Guatemalan coffee. Like most of the finish has that lovely bitter coffee taste. I'm surprised at how sort of the general taste didn't do much for me. Again, it might be because I'm sick.
Yeah.
It's got a lovely, lovely texture though. sort of just slides down your mouth. Yeah, and then it almost immediately fades to this like good imperial stout finish, but paired with you could tell there's a really good the coffee.
Yeah.
The coffee really stands out. So not much else to say right now. Also, one thing I will say is, except for a bit of that sort of sickly sweetness you get with a higher alcohol beer, you can't really tell that it's 9%, except for like right when the coffee starts to fade, you still have a bit of that alcoholic sweetness. Other than that, this is a beer that could disappear really quickly to your detriment.
Detriment or pleasure?
Yeah.
A bit of both.
Yeah. Depends.
Good, man. Lucy, if video people, you can see Kimberly hovering outside having a cigarette.
I wondered why.
Audio people.
Oh, we've got two cameos.
My slight sniggers. Yeah, Kat and a Kim.
Yeah.
For an evening. Lucy, how's your beer? How's the weird beard?
Just as Aadil saying, you can't tell that this is 9.5%. It's got that classical like weird beard kind of like spiciness and like heat to it. It is, it said it was aged in bourbon barrels, so you're obviously going to get that, that strength and that, that kind of slight whiskey.
Yeah, it's sort of like
heat to
edged vanilla and I guess bourbon barrels often give us like this bite with a little bit of vanilla flavoring.
Yeah, bit of sweetness, bit of oakiness. It's got sweetness from the alcohol, but it's not overpowering as such. So, it's I don't like sweet beers, but this is just right enough to be able to go down very, very quickly. Yeah, it's not too heavy in the body. It's probably like medium, say, not too heavy. Yeah, the head just disappeared straight away. Expected it's 9.5%, but yeah. I just want to keep drinking it, so I'm going to shut up.
Nice. Okay, so Vibrant Forest. Almost no head on this whatsoever.
Oh wow,
yeah.
There's a slight amount, just right round. I can't quite pour it.
Yeah, the ring on the glass. There's a bit of bubbling, but there's nothing outside of it.
Slightly.
Yeah.
In the nose, it was a much bigger hit than the Manual. A lot more coming off there, but I say like with the Manual, it had that kind of a little bit of a sweetness to it. This one has a little bit of sweetness to it, but it almost feels a bit more like lactose. A little bit of kind of like, maybe like a milk chocolate sort of like sweetness to it. But definitely that kind of element of slight sweetness on the nose and in the flavour as well. But, I mean, I know that there's a lot of booze in this. It's super kind of alcoholic, but not in a kind of a burning kind of sense. It's just that very... I mean, it's a very difficult kind of mouthfeel and flavour to describe, but it's almost like you take a shot of something, but it doesn't have that burning sensation to it. It's almost just that, just straight alcohol kind of taste to it.
At the start, but not really anything lingering at the end.
Exactly. The coffee comes through. It's got that little bit of sweetness behind it as well. The flavour maybe doesn't linger quite as much as it did with the Manual, just as dry, and just as sort of thin almost. It's not full-bodied at all, but it's a two coffee stouts, obviously one with a much higher percentage. Yeah, they are similar, but they have enough differences between them that they're obviously you can tell that they're very different kind of beers. It's a difficult one. This Vibrant Forest is a very difficult one to kind of describe. That kind of that alcohol hit just kind of doesn't take away from everything, but it just pulls you slightly away from kind of, I think maybe the other stuff that should be going on. Perhaps
it's not too strong, but it's slightly distracting. That
it's distracting. Exactly. Yeah, exactly that. So I think maybe, you know, when we come towards the end of the episode and we're talking about the beers at the end, once I've been through this, I might get a little bit more. I suppose that's the difficulty in having two beers of a very similar sort of style. You know, one may detract a little bit more from the other. So I'll have to kind of take my time with this a little bit and just see.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound as clear cut as Aadil's, which is just a really, really good classical stout.
Yeah, very much.
Beavertown know how to make it.
Exactly.
Like the heavy water, which was my favourite a few years ago. Very good.
Yes. I'm being sorry. I'm now being distracted by someone pointing at her wrists, telling me what time you're going to finish. I don't know. 10 o'clock. 11:30.
2047.
Morning. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. 4 years time.
Yeah.
So there are the beers. I was going to jump straight back to Lucy, imagining that you'd played something else, but I mean, you may have, you may not have, but I kind of
just Hitman.
just more Hitman. I wanted to touch a little bit on some news that I'd heard, which actually relates back to the Steam Link. That it's being phased out. That they're not going to be making them anymore.
I mean, I thought we knew that. That's why they were blowing them out like a few months ago.
So I don't think they'd ever officially announced it, but now it's kind of, we're not making these anymore. And it seems like a bit of it seems like an odd decision, but it kind of doesn't, I suppose.
I think it was a very niche audience that they were.
I mean,
trying to sell to.
The big problem is, like, if you can afford a really fancy PC, the odds that you have a home theater PC are already quite high.
Yeah.
You can already stream to any computer.
Yeah.
If you have a laptop and a fucking HDMI cable, it's doing the same thing. Right? And if you can afford that, if you can afford a really fancy PC that you're going to stream from, odds are you'll have another device that you can just plug directly into your fancy home theater or TV. Also, I think latency just was a bigger issue than they thought.
Sorry to interrupt, but is the commotion from next door coming through on my mic?
No,
it's not.
Although now that you said that, I want to know more about the commotion. Is it like some really loud sex? Is it an argument?
I wish it was. That would have been murder. It might be out of A, B, and C. It's probably C.
or is it actually just a progression between them?
That would be even more disturbing.
I mean, it really depends on what the order is, because
that's
the
order makes a big
difference. There's a problem, right? As long as A happens before C, I mean, it's not ideal. Don't get me wrong, but it's really problematic. Even if it's different people, where like post-murder fucking is just not a good thing.
Well, they're quiet now, so C might have happened.
Okay. Just listen for squeaks.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Continue.
Anyway.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Steam Link.
Yes.
Latency was what I said last.
Yes, latency. Latency was an issue, and I think
this is why I didn't buy one.
Yeah, and it's one of the issues that I kind of have with it at the moment, and one of the reasons I'm not using it maybe as much as I would be. I mean, I brought mine when I didn't have the PlayStation, so I could sit in comfort rather than on a chair. I could sit on my sofa and I could play games, and it seemed because both of them were wired into the same router in my old place, I didn't have any latency issues.
Right.
It ran through really smoothly. It was everything was hardwired in. In the current setup I've got, I'm currently my PC is currently going through a power adapter, so that's all then running through the.
Oh, you mean a power line? Yeah.
The power, running through the.
I was just like, your PC is plugged in. It's not really that My PC is plugged into some power. Cool.
You know what I meant.
It took me a second, even though I'm the one who gave you.
You gave it to me.
Yeah.
So yes, a power line adapter. Yeah, there we go. Power line. So it's running through the house, through the electrics of the house, going to the router. The router is then got a cable going to a switch box, which has both my PlayStation and the Steam Link then plugged into. So I don't know how well that box is. Transferring data and stuff. Whether that's another kind of another thing to kind of break down the signal. So currently in my setup, it's not the best conditions, but it's still the current conditions that I have, and seems like it should be a reason why someone would have a Steam Link. For this reason, so I don't have to sit in the cold. I can go inside and play. Basically.
Yeah. I'm fortunate enough to have a Surface, and all the games that I want to play can play on a Surface. I can hold a Surface right in front of my face, especially if it's touchscreen. I played the Frog game, just connected my Xbox controller in, just sat in my chair.
Yeah, so I would think, well, would a controller and your Surface be reasonable for Hollow Knight? Not ideal.
The thing is that
Switch, but
the internet is not robust enough here. It's like, even when you can do the kind of streaming thing with the Surface and my Xbox.
Oh, I see.
And that doesn't work, because it works. You have to put it at least on the lowest kind of settings, and even then,
I was just thinking, if you had owned it on Steam,
the Frog game.
No, the Hollow Knight.
Oh, okay.
And you played it on the Surface with like a controller, would that be similar to
the way
your switching?
This just sounds like nails on a chalkboard. You're just saying me play Hollow Knight on... But, sorry, if I was playing Hollow Knight on the Surface...
Yeah. With like a gamepad, or if you had one of those things that Dave had a while back, one of those tablets that had the like.
Yeah, I actually bought one of his recommendations. I think I bought one of something that he had with his recommendations. Links. Yeah. I think I picked it up for like £79 or something.
Yeah, I was just thinking. So
used
to me,
it once or twice, and that was about it.
But I think you got that like 8 months before the Switch came out or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was after the Switch launch. Like, I need something like that now.
Right. Yeah.
Damn you, Dave.
I suppose this before the Switch had all of the games.
Yeah.
Switch is so good.
The Switch must have more games now than you, Aadil.
Yeah, it's got I think they mentioned that it's like over 1,000 games. And the reason that I haven't been quite there. The reason why I used to check like the Switch eShop like all the time. It's like, I want to play that game. It's coming out. I haven't checked it in months, because it's like it's so overwhelming, that all the crap that is there. You can tell shovelware, free shovelware.
Yeah, they just opened the gates, much like Steam did with early access and then greenlight.
And
it's like, we need a big library. Let's just allow anything to come in. Now we have a big library.
There's nothing wrong with that, because it's like, who are people to decide? None of these games are like broken, let's say, but who are you to decide what is good quality or not?
Me?
You can, and then you can curate it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And you can have it on like the front page or best hits. And to be fair, Switch does I'd say it does way better than PlayStation, way better than Xbox, and certainly way better than Steam. By showcasing, these are the featured games, these are the best-selling games. Here's our top pick for...
Right.
These are the best games with, I don't know, female character in it, or these are the best RPGs or turn-based games. So you can see that it is... You obviously have to go looking for it, but it is like, on the side of like the menu, in the store page, like featured, and so they do make an effort, more so than... Certainly PlayStation and Xbox. I mean Xbox, they're having they're going to bring back Summer of Arcade, Winter of Arcade, so that's going to come back. So hopefully curation will be better. And there is idea.
You'd hope so. You'd hope so. I mean, one of the things I hate about the PlayStation Store...
It's so bad.
One of the things is
Yes,
that every you've bought a game or you've got a game in your library, and it will pick up and say, because you've got this game, and then suggest other games that are fucking wildly different.
Yeah.
That are just like, it almost appears like the publisher has probably just given PlayStation some money for it to be featured and pushed to people, and that's where they're pushing this game.
I don't think it's as bad on Xbox. I do see relevant titles.
Okay.
Like in that,
there are some relevant titles, but maybe they suggest 10 to you, and 4 of them are actually relevant, and then the other 6 are just games that have like Destiny 2.
It's just whatever algorithm they use.
I think this is the problem. If you remember, like when Amazon was a younger company, it said things you're interested in, and their like choice algorithm was garbage. It's like, you bought flea medication for a cat, so you must want this romance novel. And you're like, okay, one person bought most of these things. It's clearly, no, go fuck yourselves. You need to just...
Mate, crazy cat ladies love their romance novels.
Yeah. Mate, that's going to be me in 20 years. So don't
but you know what I mean? Like, I think it's just shitty algorithms, and they don't give a shit enough. Like, it's just, if someone bought this, if a few other people bought both these things, that's the thing. Versus thinking, oh, maybe the recommendation has to be based on like sort of tagging and like genre keywords and stuff like that, as well as co-bought. Right?
Yeah, because that's an absolutely great point to make, because we all know, we've all played games for years. We know what we like. We're not someone just, oh, my friend said Inside was good. Let me buy that on there. And he's like, oh, I enjoyed Inside. Let me go down to the suggestions page, because we all know that's garbage, but somebody might not. And it's like, oh, we suggest to you this really bad side-scrolling game.
No, it's going to be something stupid like Dragon Ball Z Fighters, because it's popular and other people have bought it.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah,
people who own that game own this game as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Steam does quite well at that. You know, it
I
picks up and saying...
I don't usually look through that list, or even the curators list.
With its queues, and Steam always does that thing when like queues. It goes, oh, we've got a sale on, or we've got something going on, some event. Look through your queue to get cards, to get the badge for the event. You're like, well, I'll look through my queue anyway because I'm interested. And
yeah, the queue actually, like,
it's not bad.
It usually comes in lots of 11, and there's usually games where I'm like, oh, that's super interesting, I might add that to my wish list. Then my wish list gets really long, and then they email me during one of their fucking sales, and they're like, 72 games of yours are on sale. I'm like, I don't even remember what these games were.
And then 3 years later, you delete them, because it's like, oh, I'll just keep it on there, wait for it's a bit cheaper. And then when it's like £79, it's like, I didn't really ever want this game.
Yeah, I don't want a 3-year-old game that I kind of was slightly interested in. I have just had a wishlist cull on Steam and taken out a ton of stuff, and most of it was from between 2012 2015. You know, I'm like, nah, I'm never gonna play these games. I'm just not gonna bother. Like, but
lesson to be learned: everything should have better curation tools.
Oh, completely. At least Steam kind of says, play this game because you've enjoyed this and this. You know, it doesn't just
because you actually fucking finished this other game.
Played it,
and other people who finished this game finished this game. That would be amazing, right? Because that's people with the same taste versus...
Not, you got a platinum in Spider-Man. Oh, you might be interested in this platinum. My name is Mayo. It takes 30 minutes.
I mean, that's actually not bad. So, I mean,
I'd prefer
you've got this game for free on PS Plus.
Actually,
here's another game.
Yeah, if they're like, oh, you're clearly an achievement hunter, here's a fucking cheap-ass game that has you...
Achievement hunters are going elsewhere. They go to, like, Macca's Guides or something, and they're like, what is the cheapest game that I can buy for 20 minutes of playtime and get 1,000 G?
Yeah.
I do, because I used to...
You are one.
Not anymore, mate. Not anymore. Before, I used to... I wouldn't buy crap games, because... unless I bought Energy Cycle, the first one, because it was like 79p and it's easy 1,000G. But...
I mean, to be honest...
I just can't nowadays. Because I actually sit next to someone recently at work. So I've known this guy for years. And he is very much an achievement hunter. And I look at him and I just think, Lucy,
You can't
That was
be
you
this
a few years ago.
That could be you again.
No, I respect it. He's going through currently he's going through I think Guitar Hero, because the online is going to be shut off in the new year. So he's trying to get achievements for that. He's like, I respect the craft. I was never that hardcore, but I understand it. It's like
constantly chasing that sort of almost dead game just to get the achievement.
He had like
it's like people
years ago. He had like 5 year streak of getting an achievement every day. I was like, that's too much stress. It's like
but
a full-time job.
Yeah. But also, it's like people who like. There's the website that says these things are leaving Netflix soon. And like, I have to watch all these shows because I won't have access to them in a month. Like, you give a fuck about this goddamn Christmas movie that's like some rom-com?
People do that.
No, but if I don't watch it now, I might never be able to see it. It's like, this is so fucked. This is
what torrents are made for, right?
Yeah, but also I have to say that there is a difference between my previous problem with games and yours, which is you might play some shitty game to get the achievements.
No, I never did that.
I'm just saying you could, right? One could.
Now and then.
Yeah. But it's better than me, where I just bought games and never...
Don't accuse me of anything.
Like, at least you're playing the game.
Yeah.
My problem in my worst collection, the collector's instinct time, was I would be getting the game for kind of the sake of it being in my library, knowing that I wouldn't have the time anytime soon, and by the time I would have time, I probably wouldn't want to play that game.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have 1,400 Steam games.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't remember playing any crappy games purposefully. I remember playing games...
Pregnancy on Steam, look it up, it's garbage.
I don't want to.
I got it because I knew it was garbage and it was on sale. I'm like, I need garbage. This garbage is, and it turns out it's garbage.
I don't think there's any surprise in that, to be honest. Come on. I've played games that I've not enjoyed, but bought with intention of perhaps liking it, playing it, not enjoyed it, but still played it to try and get the achievements. I've done that in the past. I've bought games a second time because I've enjoyed it on another platform. It's like, it's come to Xbox, I'll play that, get the achievements. Never went back.
Yeah.
Oh, but I've never bought a intention, because Energy Cycle is actually a decent puzzle game. So
did you know that before you bought it?
Yes, because I always look at reviews on things that I'm not sure of, but the thing is that achievements are sometimes like, do I want to buy this game? Has it got a good achievement list? Yes. So that's more incentive, but it's not a make or break at the end of the day. So.
Right. It's a bonus. It might push you over the threshold of, I'm unsure, but it's never going to be like, I don't like this, but I'll do it anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So to bring us full circle, I downloaded the free part of Hitman 2.
Right.
And the free part of Hitman 2 is the prologue, and I imagined, as it was with Hitman 2016, I would get a couple of training missions to be able to do.
Yeah.
Little did I know, it's the same training missions from Hitman.
Yeah, you were telling me
exactly the same.
Which is weird.
You know what's
it is
bizarre?
Weird.
No, I don't think that's weird. What I found weird is that if you buy Hitman 2, it immediately launches you into the Hitman 2 levels.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't start you at the
prologue.
Regardless if you played Hitman 1 or you're fresh to Hitman 2, it doesn't start you from the prologue. You're like, what?
Yeah, I've heard that
Excuse
as well.
me?
Yeah.
It's like, new players, you should start them from the prologue.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You should start them from the training.
Right.
Because
all Hitman 1 levels are in Hitman 2, yeah?
Yes. And they all come under, I launched Hitman 2 and they all come under, different tabs, but they're all, I guess it's all episodic, so every file is different for each level. So I guess that's how they do it. It's not one massive download, it's separate downloads. But from all the same menu and the UI, you can launch whichever of the
So
12.
does the plot
additional
really matter between?
No, absolutely not.
Then I don't have a
Agent
big problem.
47, he's a clone.
Yeah,
Just watch the films.
No, don't watch the films.
Wait, is there more
That's
than
how
one
much
film?
Yes, there is more than one film with different actors.
Wait, what was the
Different
second
actors.
Hitman film?
Nobody knows.
The first one was Timothy
Timothy
Oliphant.
Oliphant,
Yeah, I
yeah.
knew that one.
That wasn't a terrible. It was a terrible movie, but it was watchable.
It was it was
the
better
next
than
one-
the Max Payne one, which had weird angels and devils in it.
No, that was awful.
Film.
Yeah.
It's like Lara Croft, the Lara Croft film. That's how I compare like the Hitman.
Which Lara one
film.
Croft film? There's been
The
several. Angelina Jolie ones or
yes,
the new
actually,
one?
the first Angelina Jolie one. I think the second one was pretty bad.
The second or Hitman, whatever they called it,
I don't know
was
who that was.
with I can't remember his name, but it's the guy out of Homeland.
No idea, mate. No idea.
Not Damian Lewis.
Yeah, I was like, is it that guy, Damian Lewis?
It's not definitely not
right?
Ginger Damian Lewis. It's the other guy.
Cut his hair off, ain't
Rupert
it?
Friend.
What's his name? Fuck, what's his
Rupert
name?
Friend.
Is that him?
Rupert Friend.
Friend.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. It's him. It's him. But
I had no idea this movie existed from 2015.
no.
It was
so the
that
first,
soon.
the
Like,
first one was called
2015.
Hitman. And it came out. When did it come out? In like 2000.
You know what? If you want to watch a good Hitman movie with a bold guy, just watch
Leon?
Transporter.
That's not a bad film. The first one's
That should have
pretty
just
good.
had Hitman just instead of Transporter.
Yeah.
Hitman.
So
Statham
no,
as
but because
Hitman.
Jason Statham has a personality.
Yeah, that's true.
Not much of one, but enough that he's not the Hitman.
He's
So
British enough for British to become just a personality.
Hitman came out in 2007 with Timothy Oliphant, who's much better in Justified.
Oh, Justified's so good.
So fucking good. And then Hitman Agent 47 came out in 2015, apparently starring Rupert Friend.
There you go.
Well, hopefully now that IO have the license, they will never.
Let
make
this
another
fucking
film.
thing happen again.
Who knows? Who fucking
It's Square Enix. They'll let the Quiet Man happen. They can let
instead of Hitman 2.
They also let fucking Spirits Within happen.
happen.
Which was cutting edge CGI, but with the worst, not even a legitimate Final Fantasy plot.
I
which
think
so-
you're going down it. I think you're
It's like a
opening up a
massive-
can of worms.
It's like a massive tech demo, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
But
But I
bringing
just
it
wanted
back
to say, yes,
bringing it back
Hitman
to
2.
achievements. Hitman 2. I played the
achievements,
prologue
yeah.
through again. I'm like, okay, it's the prologue again. I'll play it. Unlocked a load of trophies.
Yeah. Yeah. And even though you say it's absurd having that prologue again, I think it's a really good tutorial.
Oh, it's a brilliant tutorial. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
I
I
can see
think
why they've
Doubling
done it.
up on that. Yeah.
Exactly, I can see why they've done it. And then when you go into
If it
the
ain't broke,
menu,
don't fix it.
the menu shows you the prologue and then all of the missions from the first game and then all of the missions from the second game. Like, almost like it is just, people have said it's Hitman 1.5, but
It is.
It
is.
It's like a
I mean, it sounds like
continuation.
it.
It's a very
absolutely.
continuation of the first
Well,
game.
also it seems like because they've remastered all the levels of the engine, they're just
Which is
basically
so
saying-
good. Like they didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
And the fact they've done that and put in that work as an independent developer is
It's a big
they
deal.
deserve- yeah.
Completely.
They deserve plaudits for that.
I mean, I'll be interested to see going back if I was that much of a trophy hunter. Do I need to launch Hitman 2016 to get all of the trophies in the prologue, and then launch Hitman 2, go back to the prologue to get all of the trophies again in the prologue? Because I now have
they
the
have
same
two
trophy twice just for Hitman and Hitman 2 for just doing the prologue.
And
So-
imagine me, who loves Hitman, who's going to spend like 600 hours in this game.
Yeah.
To my delight, there was 2,000 G worth of achievement points. And I think got 550 at the moment.
Oh,
Yeah, I
jeez,
was like,
you're
oh,
already
like
at
100
550.
odd. There must be 100 odd achievements. Like,
Oh, there's more than that. I think there's like 112 or something like that. But
yeah.
it's just, and which I find is weird. They're all like really rare because on
I
Xbox
think
they
that's
show
what
you
you
which
should
ones
do.
are rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I like
I was
the
surprised
super
like-
random ones and the ones that are really hard to get as achievements. I find it really frustrating when a game's like, you passed level 2 achievement. I'm like, no, I passed level 2. I don't need a fucking extra gold star. This is called progression. There's no way I can finish the game without fucking passing level 2. Don't
As
give me
an achievement hunter, you love those.
No, they're
Love
bullshit.
those you get.
No, they're bullshit. That just weakens the idea of achievement.
No.
Achievements shouldn't be things you need
I get what
to
you're
fully
saying, yeah.
progress.
Yeah. But you haven't played.
Achievement should be, I bought Barbie's pony ride because there's a random shit I can do. Let's just do this random shit.
Yeah, yeah, but the achievements on Hitman, it's like I haven't looked at them, to be honest, because it's like I just want to go in fresh, I want to go neat. But every one I pop, it's like, oh, this is a rare achievement, and for Xbox, you two don't really play on Xbox that much. I think it's if it's less than 10% of all players
who play the game, who own the game,
who own the game, have not got it. It gives you like this special rare achievement, and I was very surprised. Not just out of Hitman, just like Red Dead. But a lot of the achievements were like rare achievements. I imagine it's because people are spending a lot of time in that game.
I was gonna say, I think it's because you finished it before they did, so you might have gotten to more time.
But usually when I'm unlocking a rare achievement, because trust me, achievement hunters, they're flocking to all these games.
Yeah,
and it's like usually it's if I play a game pre-release is usually when I unlock a lot of these. So it was just surprising to see that only 4% of people have completed all 10 stranger missions in Red Dead. I thought it would be
that is super surprising given that it's one of the biggest games of all time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's
quickest selling.
It's kind of yes, it is, but I imagine that like the platinum for that game is like one of the rarest because it's so fucking big.
I think it's quite an easy platinum. It's just that you have to have online for it.
So much time. Like there is I know on PlayStation there's a gold trophy for 100% completion. So
just
you
you don't actually have to get 100% to get 100% completion, which is the strangest thing.
Shut up.
Only certain things count towards 100% completion.
You don't have to do everything in the game.
So that's probably like obviously all story missions, all collectibles.
Probably doing all the legendary.
The compendium.
Getting
all your animals and shit. Man, I rode over a fucking bird on my horse earlier.
Yeah.
I'm like, picked it up. It's like, you found a new bird. Like, I fucking rode over it on my horse.
I found a perfect bird on the floor. Did you find that random flyer in like it was like the abandoned sea town northeast.
St. Ansberg or no, Van Horn? Van Horn?
Yes, Van Horn. I don't know if that's lower or higher than St. Ansberg. It might have been one of those that random post that asking for like perfect carcass animals for like a
No, I've not seen that.
That's what I love about this game. It's like I just stumbled upon it like a random flyer on a door of an inn.
I did beat up a guy talking about eugenics.
Oh yeah, I beat him up. First time. I saw him back.
What a strange game.
I beat him up again. He came back again. And then I just shot him. I was like, mate, you had 2 warnings. Which is like more than I should have given him.
There's all these videos online of people putting like that some feminist woman on train tracks who I've not encountered.
Oh, I've seen it. And I was like, you know what? Love, you're pretty much right. Pretty much spot.
Well, of course she is. And then there's us battering the guy who's just a blatant racist talking about eugenics.
I was like, love, you're
definitely 2 kind of players.
Yeah. Feminist, she was, you know, she was like, you men are useless. It's like, hello, I'm Arthur. I'm a bloke. But Arthur, you know, as respectful he is, he's like, you know what? You're right. He was like, we could do with some help. And she was like, she was a bit...
So as a kind of...
She was right.
As my final thought, I think, for this episode, I know, Lucy, you were saying that kind of the you know, part of towards the ending kind of hit you a day later.
Oh, yes.
Emotionally. I experienced that. So I finished the game, right? I did everything. I've seen the credits.
When you say everything, do you know 100% or 100?
I've not 125% of it. Right? So I've finished the storyline. I've done the credits, and I've done one thing since, and that was go to a very specific place to look at something very specific, which, if I were to tell you, would spoil the story and all of that sort of shit.
I think I know what you're on about.
Yeah, but
I don't want to.
Adil's taken his headphones out, but listeners will be spoiled as well.
Just wave when you're ready.
Come back.
Come back. Listeners won't want to know it either.
Yeah.
But
Fuck the listeners. I mean,
so I went to a place. I'm like, right, I'll go. I'll try and find this thing, because suddenly there's this collectible which I didn't realise, which now I can unlock. So anyway, I went back to this place.
I'm assuming it's Arthur's skull.
Morbid, mate. It's definitely not his skull.
Oh, that's a shame. I like the idea of like finishing the game and coming back despite the game is over as some sort of pseudo Arthur and finding your own skull as a collectible, because they're not quite the same thing.
Floating around the Wild West as a ghost. Yeah.
How is this possible? So I went to this place, and that is when it hit me. I'm like,
yeah. The game is. I'm not going to say anything that's spoilerific. It's just so sorrowful and relatable in the
Ben,
way.
I'm assuming you're going to still poke around at the game for a while yet, or are you going to move on?
I moved on. I can't go back to that game for a very long time.
I think I'll move on now. But we've got. I mean, there's like Mutant Year Zero coming out next week, which I'm super interested in, like an XCOM-like strategy game. Really, really excited about that. But I think after that, there's not really anything coming out. And Kim is possibly buying me Hitman 2 for Christmas, so I may get that at some point within the month. But I will poke at it. I think there's other things I will jump to.
I do want to go back to it, but there's a reason why I don't want to go back.
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm struggling with is, well, one, I can't possibly do any justice to that game until after I'm done this
completely.
But I would like to play it, and then so I was just like, I was curious, like, is it a thing where you play the 60 hours and then you stop for a while? It seems like it, but it also seems like the world is good enough that you guys want to poke again.
The world is like, I've just stayed off the internet to avoid spoilers since this game came out. I've heard just listen to podcasts and through osmosis, like, oh, someone found this. I was like, what? But it's not too much spoilery for me now, because it's like, okay, I expect there's going to be a lot in this game that I didn't find, and that's going to be spoiled for me regardless. But obviously for you, Aadil, we don't want to spoil anything.
So what I'm basically saying is, I think hopefully in the new year, or like on a Boxing Day sale or something, I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
And then just not deal with it.
Absolutely. No. There's no rush to play anything, to be honest. And if you avoid it, I wanted to finish because I wanted to avoid spoilers of like more the world rather than even the story.
I've been pretty good. I mean, because I've been just super busy. I haven't actually looked at a lot of websites in general about games, and so I'm kind of blissfully unaware about all of the things.
Best thing. Because even speaking to Ben, it's like just even that poster in Van Horn or whatever. I felt like, that's on the line. It's like, I want people to, find these things themselves, but you realise that at a certain point, that's impossible. We're all going to see different things. So I think the statute of limitations...
That just shows the scale of the game as well, doesn't it? Right. That interference is the end of the episode. Let's finish there this week. We'll talk about beers. Aadil, out of the two that you had, I know that you're a little bit impaired in terms of your nose and stuff, but you were getting a lot of flavours when you were tasting them from some of them. Which did you prefer this week?
So I thought for sure I would have picked the Beavertown and Caravan. But again, because my nose is plugged up, I'm not sure how much of this is accurate. But for my current state, the actual beer part of the Imperial Espresso Stout was really understated, and the coffee part was really good. But if you contrast that, so I had basically two sort of weird mashups, right? I had a imperial espresso stout with like a really solid coffee in it, and then I had a Indian pale lager. But the Indian pale lager just seemed to be very much more of a beery taste.
Yeah,
And it married the lager with sort of the more hoppy nature of an Indian pale blank.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just it's more of a well-rounded combination, and it was more beery. While like I felt like the imperial espresso stout from Beavertown and Caravan was just less
more coffee than beer.
Was really quick to fade on the imperial stout part, and then really exciting on the espresso part. But it was much more of like a 1 than 2 rather than like a blend. It was just like, here's a quick taste of the beer. Now let's luxuriate on the coffee. So I'm gonna say it's the Side Control Indian Pale Lager from Manchester Marble Brewery.
Nice. Yeah, I need to always have new beers, Marble, but it's like I always see the common ones like the Earl Grey and the one that says like pint or something like that.
Yeah.
Lucy, how about you? You shout out the two. There was the Weird Beard, wasn't it, and the Birmingham Brewing Company?
Yes, Mary Brummie. Even though it's not quite that time of year, it's November still.
Can't talk about
November
Christmas
in 2
yet.
days. No, we can't talk about Christmas yet, but I'm gonna give it to the Mary Brummie.
Okay.
The Weird Beard, I've said many times on this podcast, Weird Beard do some of the best and most underrated beers in the country. But there's going to be no surprise that I enjoyed it. It was strong, but not too strong. You couldn't taste the 9.5% too much. It was medium body, so it went down very well. Started getting a bit too sweet the more I drank it, so that was it was diminishing returns for me. But the Mary Brummie, it's like, I don't know why people don't do like more rye beers, because rye's just such a good flavour, and it's like you rarely see it, you know.
It's, you get quite a few kind of like springtime rye beers.
Yeah,
I
like
think
rye
it has to do with the availability of the grain, right?
Possibly, yeah.
So in Canada, like much more of the microbreweries end up having like a rye based beer, but that's also because our like rye goes into our whiskeys. Like Canadian whiskey is rye. Right?
Yeah.
Rye based. That's how you can differentiate. So Canadian whiskey, chances are it's rye. So few that aren't, but like that's the thing we do.
Yeah.
And so we just have that availability of the grain, and so because of that, you see these like rye-based beers will quite more often, even in smaller breweries. It's usually like if you have 7 beers, one of them is a rye beer. Over here,
you don't
like
see
if
that
you have
many.
15 beers, maybe one of them is or more. Like if you think of like Cloudwater,
it's very rare. Yeah. And it's a good style and it works, and it's a shame we don't see it more.
Literally just a
availability, price.
Yeah, just the fact that like in Canada we produce a lot of rye, so you can easily use it. I mean, but even in the grocery store, bread, I don't see a lot of rye bread either.
Yeah,
like it's just not as big of a thing in this country.
Yeah, possibly. But
you're busy with your rye wit.
But nevertheless, it's like it's good. It's good to not have a nice rye beer now and then. It's very malty, very malt forward, very obviously rye forward, but that bitterness at the end, as well as the rye and the malt. The rye and the malt definitely leave an aftertaste, but it's like bum bum bum, 3 stages, very malt and rye forward, like packed in there at the very start. Then you have like the orange and the citrus just tapering off that kind of malt and rye, but the aftertaste is very much that rye and that slight bitterness. If you're more prone to taste bitterness, then this might be overly bitter for you, but for me, it was very nice. It was very good. Plus, I got to represent local brewery.
Yeah, definitely.
Wouldn't have it any other way. So yeah.
Nice. Good. For me this week, two similar beers. They're not similar beers at all. 2 beers of a similar style. Comfort of Strangers from Manual Coffee Stout and Vibrant Forest Umbral Abyss Imperial Coffee Stout.
Umbral Abyss.
Umbral Abyss, I know.
That's two very dark.
I know. I'm going to go this week for the Manual, The Comfort of Strangers. Both for stouts, very light in what they were trying to do. And not as full-bodied as I think I would have liked.
Yeah.
Just for my taste. This might be exactly what each brewer was going for.
Right.
But the Umbral Abyss, that alcohol, that sweetness that's stuck with me throughout the whole drink, and I've finished it now, so I'm getting a little more of the coffee kicking in, but not much. The Comfort of Strangers, from Manual, gave me more coffee. It gave me much more roasted elements to it, as I would expect from a coffee stout. It sticks to the style maybe a little bit more, and I think the alcohol for the imperial coffee stout from Vibrant Forest kind of is a little bit to its detriment. It just kicks through just a little bit too much. Makes it just that sweetness kind of just overrides everything. And whilst I'm getting a little bit of coffee coming through, it's not very much. Whereas the Comfort of Strangers, it started off with a sweetness. It moved into those roasted coffee notes. It then had that dark chocolate kind of bitterness to it as well. It was a much more, it flowed. The flavour flowed through those different stages. And it kind of hit all of those notes very well, bringing them kind of each to the fore through from the start to the mid to the finish. Did that really well. So, it's kind of an easy pick, really.
Right.
I think that's the pattern for this week. Beers that flow.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Vibrant Forest would have done well to have maybe just toned down that alcohol, maybe just a little bit. If it was an 8, even a 9% beer, it may be completely different. So, I mean, it's not put me off Vibrant Forest at all. I know the bottle shop had another 2, maybe another 3 beers in from these guys. So definitely another one to kind of check out, especially with the Belgian double that I had last week, which was really good. So it's not put me off by any means. But yeah, Manual Brewing Company for me this week. So that is us for this week. You can get at us at tankedup_cast on Twitter, or at tankedup@gmail.com. If you'd like to email us some things, Aadil, how do people chat to you, sir?
On email.
Oh,
here's my private
Is that what
email.
you said? Sorry, you had such a long pause between our email address, and then you were like, if you wanted to email us, talk to us. It's just a very strange move. One of the things I will say is also you can always reach us on our Facebook page, but we are basically just living out of the Out of Lives Facebook page, not the Tanked Up one. I get these notifications of like people viewing the Tanked Up one. It's woefully out of date. We should really probably delete it.
should just delete it.
Yeah, but so
Let me update. Let me run the place. Hitman 2.
Hey, you can run it. I'll give you all of the details, mate.
So you can reach me at the Omniarch on thing except Switch and Twitch, where I'm the underscore Omniarch, and SW something. It's probably a dash, not an underscore. I don't care. Fucking, if you want me on your Switch list, message me on another platform. We're cool. How about you, Lucy?
It's GCLease9 on Untapped, PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, and it's Tanked Up Lucy on Twitter. That's about it.
Good. I am at Nova_47 on Twitter, Nova_47 on PlayStation and Steam. You should all go to, as Aadil said, Out of Lives on Facebook. We go to outoflives.net to look at loads of articles, other podcasts, and go to our YouTube page as well to see our faces if you're an audio listener, or other podcasts. They all do video podcasts too. We have the occasional gameplay video and stuff going up there as well. I have just put out an article on why I'm excited for Metro Exodus. Last week I put up an article about why I'm excited for the Division 2. Yes. I've managed to find a good flow in terms of podcast, edit, then start writing to release the day of recording. Give yourself a week to do stuff. But I'm very excited for both of those games, so you can read why on outoflives.net.
I think Metro will be delayed, if it hasn't already been.
Ooh, no, it's not. It's still 22nd of February.
It's not coming out the same day as that.
I will also say that this next act, season 2, now that pub, we found a new pub, has come out, and good. I'm gonna sneeze. No, I'm not. Okay. This is really frustrating. If you haven't listened to the next act, we've just sort of relaunched because there was a problem in the summer where we were fortnightly in a club, in a bar that closed down. Now we've got a bit of a backlog, and we're weekly, and so expect more episodic content. And it's especially episode 1 of season 2 has been really strong. Good comedians, and if you like laughing, it's actually a really good commute podcast because you can.
So I was like, should I listen to this at work? And I was like, no, because I'm just going to burst out laughing.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's 5 and 10 minute sets. The whole point is it's a sort of the idea is you're at a open mic / sort of new comedy night, so it'll be experienced comedians doing new stuff or new people to comedy, and so. Sometimes it's less good than other times, but it gives you the exact vibe of being in the room on one of these nights. And if you live in a place in the country which doesn't have these things, this is a really great way to sort of feel what it is. Versus like Netflix specials where everything's super polished. It's been a set that's been working really well for 6 months and refined, and they take the best of a handful of takes. This is live, goes well, doesn't go well.
Yeah, it's more of a true experience.
Yeah, the idea we're trying to get at is like what it is to be in a comedy night, not what it is to have great comedy thrown at you.
Yeah,
and I really enjoyed the sort of like, was it season 2? I think you've called it episode 1, which released a couple of days ago. Slightly more vulgar than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, there were a couple, and it's the women. For the
it
most
was
part.
The women.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Usually is us. Yeah. We get away with it. Double standards.
So you can now go to outoflives.net for your gaming, TV, movie, and comedy needs.
Yeah.
So do that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
For
another week, we've been tagged up. Bye-bye.
I want to see if Aadil goes first. If he ever does. He's gonna break. Bye.
He's gonna break. He's gonna bye immediately. Ciao. Amazing.
The tension.
Yeah.